Hey there, Cheese here, and welcome back to the Mega Man Zero Perfect Runs. You know, come to think of it, just about every task we've had so far has been to cover for our teammates, hasn't it? It's all been them starting something and us being tasked with doing it right. Let's see if we can't change that, shall we? Part of the problem might be our energy stock running low, and there's an abandoned factory nearby. Neo Arcadia is occupying it right now, and why they're not using it I have no idea. But if we clear them out, we can use it. And that might make our teammates a little better at their jobs. Wouldn't that be nice? I think it would be. And so here we are. Here at the factory. It's probably my favorite area in Mega Man Zero. Not my favorite stage, but overall area. It's always got great music, and it has a very unique feel, which to me seems bolstered by the way it has several enemies that don't appear anywhere else outside of the final area. Such as those barrier counters back there. They function a lot like shield attackers from the classic series, except with a small difference that I'll show during the extras. There's also a second way into the building that bypasses all the security you're seeing here, which I'll also show. And security which, might I mention, was dreadfully absent from the Neo-Arcadian secret prison base, which they were using, and is instead present in an abandoned factory that they don't care about. I'd question it, except, honestly, before they found Zero, the resistance was pretty much so pathetic that Neo-Arcadia probably didn't really have to care about what they were doing. If you get caught by a sensor, you're not done for right out. What will happen is that huge barrier will start to lower, and smaller barriers will lower in between the rooms in that lower area. You'll have to break the smaller barriers down and get to the upper barrier as quickly as you can. If you get locked out by that thing, you're done. The mission's over and you can't occupy the factory anymore. Now we've got some carry arms returning, and this time, instead of trying to drop spikings on us, they're ferrying raw materials back and forth, and giving us a nice convenient way across this bottomless pit. A very wide one. Also, a few, welding arms are in the way, but as long as you don't touch the spark that they create, they can't hurt you. You can jump right through them. Speaking of sparks, the Left Man traps are back, with new and improved diagonal versions. And new and kind of improved vertical versions. They're not too easy to time, but if you're only walking while they get on screen, not dashing, not pausing, just plain old walking, then you can walk right through the whole lot of them without having to adjust for anything. Makes it a lot easier. A couple slightly problematic security fighters later, and we're on to Guard Orotic or something. I'm not certain how it's pronounced, but the name isn't actually gibberish this time. It's based off of Orochi, a serpent creature. And yes, CL, it is the boss. At a high enough rank, it will always start with its X attack. And that's its X attack. Its main way of attacking is with its 8 heads. It will only use those heads to attack if you're directly below it. Otherwise, it stays clamped shut and just drifts slowly towards you. At a high enough rank, it'll decide to make use of that time by firing at you. It will only do that up to 4 times in a row, though. If it's fired at you 4 times in a row and you're still not directly beneath it, it'll just open up. It's a bit of a misleading boss, because you can't actually collide with it to take damage. Well, aside from the heads. You can collide with the heads, but the rest of the body, you can just jump right through. The heads also look like they're taking damage, but they actually don't. Well, not for the boss's health bar, anyway. The heads have their own health, and if you damage one enough, it will be destroyed for quite a while. I don't really find it worth it though, since the heads themselves the attacks aren't very hard to dodge. The only one that's slightly tricky is the red one, but if you get them out, well, if you lead guard Orotic to the left side of the room when the heads are about to be out, oop, that's right, X attack. If you make sure it's on the left side of the room when guard Orotic is about to attack with the red heads, and then dash past with to the right, you'll be just fine. Also, I like to get frozen right off the bat with those blue heads because it doesn't hurt, and it could be a problem if I dodged that but got frozen later, because then I'd have to struggle to get by, to get out before. Whoa! X attack. Wasn't expecting that. You can just lead the shots away from yourself with this. It can get you, but you'll be fine, really, as long as you pay enough attention. Anyway, what I was saying about that was, it gives me more time. Getting caught as soon as possible gives me more time to get out of that before the yellowhead attack becomes an issue. So, I don't even bother dodging. One thing to note is that the electric balls here actually linger a bit. It's a very long battle because of how often it's shielded, but it's also fairly easy, especially once you have a solid way to deal with the red attack. You want to make sure to wait for it on the right like this, because it always attacks with the right head and then the left head. And the left head, well, I mean the red heads will go to the ground for their flamethrower attack, and then go up afterwards. So whether you're ducking down in the lower corner, oh come on, or hanging onto the wall, you're at risk of being hit if you try to get out of the range on the left with that red head attack. Overall, because of how often it's shielded, whoa, X attack! Please don't mess this up. Okay, because of how often it's shielded and how it likes to get out of your Mega Buster range by being too close, which is... Whoa! Hey, no. None of that. Okay, it's a long fight, but it's an easy one. You just have to make sure not to mess up for the whole duration, which can be a little problematic, but I did it. Guard Orotic is down, and we got our factory. Nice. If secured all floors, our mission is complete, and we get us a flame chip. Not sure why this thing gives it, because it uses every element, but we get a flame chip all the same. And yeah, with a boss like that, I'm a slowpoke. Oh well. Important thing, 0 damage. Thanks to us, we've got a facility. Now we can live without the fear of retirement? I think you mean running out of energy there. Retirement is what is actively killing, well, whatever. There are extras and there are some outtakes. Enjoy them while you can. They won't last long, I guess. I'm very bad at these. Alright, time for the extras. First off, a demonstration of barrier counters. If you shoot them, they just absorb your shots, and I think that goes woo for the Z-Saber too. Yep. If you use the Z-Saber on the shield, it won't take any damage. the shield will just absorb the whole thing. And if they absorb enough, they'll fire a little burst. That's basically counterattack or barrier counters in a nutshell. I also think I forgot to mention cannon hoppers. This new enemy is a cannon hopper. It'll fire a spread shot from the ground, then hop to the ceiling and fire a spread shot from there, then return. And, oh, that was way too early. There are also secure hiders there. Anyway, I mentioned there's an alternate path in. I want that health. I don't like having a not full health bar in it while recording. That'll do. Over, if we double back before entering the facility, there are some more hazards instead of enemies. Although they do have names, I haven't mentioned it yet, but those bombs are named. They're called Flopper, which makes all sorts of sense. Anyway, going across these, whatever they are, we can destroy this air vent and the fans within. We'll get an extra life, some E crystals, and a cyber elf, and we'll be plunked out right past the final security sensor. So no need to worry about this wall closing in on us. There, then return. And oh, that was way too early. There are also secure hiders there. And if you get I don't know if that would have worked anyway. Nope. Don't get caught by the earliest sensor. I can't believe that happened. Well, so much for that. By the by, a game over isn't actually like a game over. Extra lives aren't so much extra lives as continues in this game. And you have a set amount of continues. If you get a game over and give up, you don't, like, lose the game. You just have failed that mission. Here's an example of that. And basically that's that. Different missions have different penalties for failing. Such as, if I failed the Hittite Hot Tide mission, the base would immediately get overrun by Neo-Arcadian forces. In this case, all that happened was we haven't been able to occupy the factory. And for this last bit of extras, I'm going to show off exactly what difference that makes. And I'll start, actually I want to go up. And I'll start by moving around the resistance base a little bit. Like I said last time, the entire area is connected. See, right up here is the gate that the mechanoloid nearly tore down. And if we go down, we'll get to the subway in a while. I'll speed through that so you won't have to wait too long. Might as well show off that. Oop. Alright, we're at the far end of the subway now, and if we go up a ladder or two, we'll be at the entrance to the factory. Don't worry, there is a trance server just behind this door, so once you've made it here, you can make the return trip in a flash, and you can get back here anytime you want. Anyway, up this ladder, and I believe we'll be right out at the factory. Yep, here we are, and there's someone to talk to. This factory produces E-crystals, and since we've made it our own, there's no longer any danger in this place. E-crystals are these little green-blue capsule things that we've been collecting throughout the game. I really like how they look, and I guess you can use them for things, mostly leveling up your cyber elves, but who would waste them on that? They look too nice to go to waste like that. Oh, and I missed some. I want those. Give me those back. This is the main reward you get for getting the factory under your control. In between any mission you want, you can just come in here and collect to your heart's content. Especially in this area. With the factory down, nothing will hurt you here. And there are E-crystals up in the rafters everywhere. And that was not the right time to drop. Whoops. Give me a moment. One slightly interesting thing is there are still a couple enemies here and there in the overworld, but there were also a couple holes underneath this building here, and you can drop into them to take a shortcut of sorts into the subway. Alright, I'm back. As a side note, the entrance there was devoid of E-crystals since I cleared it out, so I don't know if it restores... I don't know if the E-crystals that are there get restocked in between missions, or if it's just a one-time deal after you clear the mission where we take over the factory, or if it's something else entirely. I've never bothered with collecting E-crystals all that much. But, regardless, if you want E-crystals, here's where you got them. That's just a cyber elf. Oh, the electric tracks are still present. Wasn't expecting that. And there's the electric traps actually being a little bit of trouble. Alright, it seems that that's just about all the crystals that are here. Oh, the boss room is full of them. That's lovely. And that's also it. At this point, you just gotta make your way back out. So, since I'd have to wait for the elevator otherwise, I'll see you on the other side of the outtakes. Deal? Oh. By the way, there are a few E-crystals in this ventilation shaft, and I forgot to mention the fans can hurt you. Starting off with some new enemies. I tried to jump past that one while it was above me. Good for me. And security sensors. Yep, there we go. If you get caught by one, the big... Wow! I forgot about you again. And a few carry-ons here. This time, instead of delivering spikings, I jump off of them into a pit. Good for me. The factory area is one of my favorite areas in the game, I'd say. This enemy is not. Anyway, this is actually its X attack. If you're not directly... Oh. I misstreamed. It'll open up its core and fire off a stream of shots directly aimed at you. That was pretty dumb. I'm gonna try and do the red ones from afar this time. Yeah, that was dumb. You gotta know stuff that's smart, you know? So the security sensors. If you get caught by them in this... I don't know what to do. Oh, what I do there is this, duh. Careful that if you're hiding in the corner, it's not... Make sure that guard Orotic isn't close enough that it'll cause one of the heads to drift into you. I mean, that would be embarrassing. Oh, right. X attack. I forgot it! Dang it! It attacks with 4 pairs of heads, mainly. Yellow or orange ones that may trying to be a good sport here. You cannot collide with it at all. Yikes. Except for the heads. You can collide with the heads, but that's it. It also uses this X attack when I don't expect it to be far enough away to. We don't have to stop or dash or time ourselves or anything. One more secure powder that likes to cause issues by descending during the middle of that jump, and I don't want to risk it, even though he's making... Yeah, stuff like that, dang it! That's why I'm always so careful there. You can't actually collide with it except for where the heads are. The heads will collide with you, and they will damage you, but the main body, oh, you go that high. They hop to the ceiling. The spread shot's pretty wide, so... Oops. Also some new diagonal brand Electman traps up here. I dashed into that and messed up all the timing. Or really do anything threatening. In fact, I forgot, why did I think it would start with the left? All it did was open its mouth. Goodness, man. And it will only use the heads if you are not directly... Dang it. The stupid animation on the red ones makes that a little harder than it should be. Before I move on, just want to check something that I think I might have noticed in the factory here. Regarding the shutters. Let's see if I can get caught by this first one here. Alright. Okay, that's what I thought. The doors don't actually go down except for in the rooms that you get caught in. That's what I thought, but so I was wrong during the run. It's still bad to get caught early, but you won't have to break down every barrier on your way through. So you still should maybe try to watch out for the sensors. That is, assuming you don't waste too much time being careful around them. Despite all the new hazards to be found in the factory, this was a fairly peaceful stage, a nice change of pace after the stress that came with trying to take the Hittite Hot Tide down in time. Orotic gets a 2 out of 10, and at last there's not one specific thing that gave me all the trouble in this stage. It was fairly well balanced. Everything after the factory shutter was easy but not too easy. I'd always run a small risk of getting hit, even on a good day. If I'm not really being careful. And that extends to the boss as well. Now, I'm not good at finding bosses on reflex alone. I much prefer analyzing patterns and figuring out strategies that I can use to keep myself out of harm's way. The fact that I went into this without practicing once really says something about how easy Orotic is to fight. And you can tell that's what happened. About half the outtakes against the boss itself were just me figuring out what not to do to dodge the Firehead's attack. Once I finally buckled down and figured out how I wanted to deal with that consistently, the fight became much easier, though still not without threat. There was always the chance of Orotic opening up with an X attack when I really wasn't expecting it to. It happened a couple times during the run, and it also caused several of my outtakes. So, I think a 2 out of 10 is fair. This was a pretty enjoyable run, a nice breather stage, but not one that forgoes all sense of difficulty. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're looking forward to the next one right alongside me. Until then, this has been Cheese. See you later.